Hello, this is Lavistro, the Dragon of Cyberspace, coming to you with all news, tips, and tricks within the gaming spectrum. And I'm going to give you some Lavistro lore here, like before Lavistro was a streamer lore. Obviously, y'all know I was a game developer. And I was very vocal in certain aspects of the games community, even though, because, like I said, I was a freelancer. And one thing I was vehemently against was in 2014 while Gamergate was going on, people were trying to unionize the game industry. Now, I know a lot of people point out the usefulness of unions going back to the early days of unions, but I never fully understood this. I won't lie. I never fully understood unions because, well, before I joined the military, before I was a game developer, when I was just but a wee young adult dragon, I worked in factories that had unions, and all I wanted to do was hurry up, get my work done, and go back home, play some video games. Yes, that was literally my life. Although, yes, obviously, I did go out and I did socialize with people. But people are stupid. Anyways, people try to unionize, and the thing is that it makes games more expensive. It takes games to go longer because if there are strikes and people don't do what they want, instead of manning up and going to their boss and being like, hey, I want a raise because I do this, this, and this. With a union, you do that to your boss was like, well, you need to talk to your union rep. Because everyone deserves a raise. Right? So they got to negotiate salaries. And if they don't get what they want, they have to strike. Plus, you have to pay dues. Why should I pay someone something I can do myself? And unions are very cutthroat. For example, I remember my mom telling me about Lord of the Rings, a Lord of the Rings movie, right? Not the Rings of Power, the actual Lord of the Rings movies back in the day. And because Peter Jackson did not want to use unions and union writers or something like that, like he was using a totally different thing, or they would have been like there was some disagreement between the Hollywood unions and him, that they literally told actors that if they worked on his set, writers and actors, they would be blacklisted from other movies. Yes. That literally was what my mom told me. Now, I don't know. That was years ago, and digging through the internet for that is just irrelevant at this point for me. But there are many cases where unions have threatened its members to toe the line. And unfortunately, I would be a horrible union member, as I am also a horrible content creator, because I don't do what the algorithm fucking wants. I don't do what everyone else fucking wants. I do what I want. So if I want to go into work, I go into work. That being said, it seems like ZeniMax has an issue, ZeniMax and Microsoft, because they recognize the union and, well, they made their bed and they had to sleep in it. We are frustrated. ZeniMax union workers continue to pressure Microsoft over contract negotiations. Keep in mind, I do know some people don't have expect to have a collective voice, right? I do agree with that. I do believe that sometimes it's hard, but and it's scary here. But the solution is go find another job. It's scary, but you'll be so much happier. But look at this. Yeah, pizza. I mean, I don't understand this. Like, why are you going to show pizza and coolers and also? Oh, yeah, you're taking care of your environment. Sure, got it. You got pizza, but why? If I was taking a group photo and I really cared about my cause, right? Like, if I was a union member, I would literally say, like, "Hey, no, we need to move this out of the way." All right. But no, they kept that in there. And besides, why would I want to like these people here, why would I want to take a photo with a trash bag in front of me? I'm not being nitpicky here. I'm just saying, I noticed that it's details like this that matter. So for someone who just like, why should I fucking care? Just like you probably are a viewer. This doesn't help me. I'm like, okay, you've got money. So what do you want? I digress. Unionized workers at Elder Scrolls and Fallout makers and the Max Media have called up parent company Microsoft for purposely failing to negotiate in good faith. This is probably why it's taking even longer to make Elder Scrolls 6. I'm just going to say. It's also probably why Type 1, Type 2 exists in Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remaster. But let's keep going. A number of employees represented by Communication Workers of America, CWA, Level 21, I don't care the numbers, claim Microsoft is intentionally hindering contract talks with union members, leaving them in a lurch more than 2 years after negotiations began in April 25, 2023. So this has been going on for 2 years. It's increasingly clear that although Microsoft tries to position itself as a good faith employer, there's another story being told behind the scenes at the bargaining table. Yes, you're a corporation. Corporates do double speak. We know this. Says ZeniMax Workers United CLA Local Chapter, but I don't care. It's QA tester Autumn Michelle in a CWA statement. We are a first year union that will continue fighting until we secure our first contract, and we're prepared to do whatever it takes, even if that means withholding our labor. Okay. I mean, there's jokes about Elder Scrolls 6 not coming out, and Elder Scrolls 5 will be Elder Scrolls 5 Anniversary Edition 2.5 in like 30 years. Like, that's the joke, wedding joke. You know, in the future, and Elder Scrolls will still be around. Oh, sorry. The latest statement from CA union members at ZeniMax comes weeks after the court voted to authorize a strike in response to Microsoft reported inaction. It also arrives roughly 3 years after Microsoft entered into a labor neutrality agreement with the CWA to let employees freely and fairly make a choice about union representation. So, 3 years ago, they agreed to recognize the union, and it seems like in those 3 years, see, 23, 24, yeah, already they're having problems. Although Microsoft has pledged to give employees a seat at the table, it has now repeatedly been accused of failing to engage with productive negotiations with those who've chosen to organize. And here's the thing. They don't really want to recognize you. They probably did that so they would get attention by activists, because they were really, really harping on unionized now. Game developers of the world unite and stuff like that. The socialist fist holding control or all that stuff. So yeah, it's no surprise there that they're not going to recognize their employees. And I'm not saying Microsoft is a saint here. I'm not saying that. They're a corporation. Microsoft has a history of corporate double talk. What I'm saying is, and I apologize for my phone. I can't turn it off. You know what? We'll just continue. Maybe they'll say it. I'll just put it like that. Members of the ZeniMax Workers United CWA Bargaining Committee also are pushing Microsoft for better wages, workplace improvements, and more robust remote work options. This is probably why they're hey, unions. I got something for you. I got this. Y'all not gonna like this because your union rep isn't gonna get his dues, right? Because that's also a thing. But I was a freelancer. I was able to do remote work. I was also getting better pay because I negotiated my contract with people I worked with. So I never had to leave my home to do my work. Go freelance. Literally. Oh, right. Some of y'all might be shitty game devs. I should know this. I've worked with some of y'all. Not here at Microsoft. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I worked with people in the industry that work for studios and they're shit. That's why they called me in. Because they need extra hands to get the thing running and fixed. with fewer bugs. And I'm not the best, but I'm good at what I do. They also called on Microsoft to address its decision to replace in-house quality assurance staffers with outsourced labor without informing the union. Yeah. So that's what I'd be. So y'all really hate me. In a statement to game developer following the strike vote, Microsoft said it had presented fair proposals to union workers at Cinemax. We respect the team's right to express their viewpoints and are deeply committed to reaching a fair and equitable resolution that acknowledges the team's contributions, said Microsoft's spokesperson. And that might be true too. As much as I want to say I hate corporations, especially Microsoft, you know, at the end of the day, they might be trying, and it could be the union workers. See, I have a bias against corporations and unions. And because of that, I can still say, you know what? One might not be telling the truth, or they both might not be telling the whole story. There's two sides to a story. Senior Chief of Staff Lilia Ramos remains adamant, however, that Microsoft is refusing to prioritize their negotiations. We are approaching the 3-year anniversary of CW's groundbreaking labor neutrality agreement with Microsoft. Thus, workers are freely and fairly chosen union representation with CW under the agreement. It's time for Microsoft negotiators to make bargaining contracts with these workers a priority so that together we can fully realize the promise of our partnership. So, perhaps what's going on is Microsoft isn't fully committed to recognizing your union. I mean, that's what it sounds like. They're like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Because you're just saying here, that's for freely and fairly chosen union representation. But that don't look like a lot of people. You know, if I was on strike, all right, if I was going on strike, and my union said we had to picket the fence line, I would literally show that there are thousands of people. Not, what is this, maybe 30 people here? I'm not going to bother counting. But look at this. You paid for strikes, you paid to have these things made out. You didn't make it yourself, right? It's not homemade. It looks like you paid somebody to make it out of these, which costs probably hundreds of, it's not thousands of dollars. I don't know. And then you had to buy the wood to make the steaks. Then you obviously ordered pizza, and you have coolers with drinks that you paid for. But don't get me wrong. You need to hydrate. You really do. You need to hydrate. But I bet you it's full of sodas and stuff like that, not water. I mean, I don't know. You know, a trash bag. So that dozens of trash bags. If I was a union worker, if I was photographing you, I would try to make sure I got as many people as I could in that photo. And if this is what you got, yeah, Microsoft isn't going to take you seriously. This is why I hate unions. This is literally why I hate unions. Because there's probably people on like this fat freaking hair dye fucking job here. Looks like he got some soy boys. Like this guy's like, it clearly doesn't look like he wants to be here. He's like, can I go home? Like that's literally what I'm seeing here with this guy. Probably an angry old cuss. Probably from up Karens. They even got their disability. Look, they got their disability representation. Okay. Or she probably just bring her like, I don't know. But my point is that most of these people are probably people that they're looking to fire anyways. Like, because Microsoft is a big company. But that's what I'm seeing here. I don't think this is going to go anywhere. But what do you think, viewer? Put your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, happy gaming.
Worlds clash in endless collision. Gaming news with a fierce precision. With a spark so wild it breaks the norm. In the tempest's eye, a cyberstorm. Reclaim gaming and Dragon Cast. Fire breathing wide, screaming loud. Lavistro. crowd.